Hey, I'm back. I told you I was coming back, and this is take two, Groom's vest. It's been a crazy day, as you have seen from the earlier video. And so I've been working. I gotta get myself geared up. This is a Groom's vest that is coming up in 2 weeks. Now, a vest is, everybody thinks a vest the same across the board. They're not. I had actually four different patterns. The vests were very different. Some of it was similar, but the seaming and the way they were cut was a little bit different. And when you have a first vest, as I did before, and the pattern for this was a foreign name. I'm sure they're here in the U.S., but their instructions were very different than, say, McCall's or Simplicity. So if you switch gears, you're doing like for a bridal party like I'm doing, some of the bridal party items, you have to wipe clear your mind of the pattern that you just finished, because now you're working on something new and it's not necessarily going to be the same, because a groom's vest may not be the same as a groomsman's vest. So just a little word to the wise. Now, on this particular vest, it starts out with the front first. And what I have got, and from the previous video, but this is kind of like a recap for some of you. Others, it's brand new. There is a part of the pattern that this particular groom wanted to have pockets in this vest. This vest pattern does not call for pockets, although it does provide you with something called a welt. The welt basically looks like a rectangle, but it's kind of pointed at one end, and I'm going to show you what that looks like here. Welt, basically, I'll unpin this because I had just stuck it on here, but I gotta show you how to layer it anyway. Welt looks like, come here, little welt. Oh, I pinned it. Oh, and actually I was able to sew it, but anyway, I forgot from the other video. I got part of it sewn on, and then the machine decided to be simple. Or actually stupid. But a welt is a piece that kind of, this is it folded in half. And what you do is you fold it in half, right sides together, and you stitch the side seams, and then you pin it to the front of the vest. Now, this pattern it's for decoration. It's not for functionality. It's not for a pocket. So if you want it to be functional, turn it to a pocket, well, I had to swipe a pocket pattern from this vest pattern that I did, and it works. Pockets are kind of universal. It doesn't really matter. It's just where you position them, how you position them on the pattern you're working on. I've had too many people say to me, well, you can't mix patterns. I said, what do you mean you can't mix them? It's like, oh, no, you can't mix a Butterick with a McCall's and McCall's with Simplicity. You can't mix them at pattern pieces. Yes, you can. If you know what the tweaking is and how it goes and the basic, fundamentals of the construction of a garment, you can do whatever you want. I don't hold myself down to one type of pattern company. I have a little bit of everything. Now, I have not done any mixing and matching with Vogues yet. I think it's coming though. I like to experiment. I like to prove people wrong when it comes to the things that I figure out how to do. Now, it's with a pocket in front of the vest. You take the welt. Like I said, you prepare it. You fold it in half, right sides together. You stitch the side seams 1/4 inch. Not 3/8, not 5/8, 1/4 inch. And there's a reason for that. It's so that when you go to cut open the opening for the pocket, that you have the space to fill in with the pocket itself behind it. Actually fills it in and makes it look nice and neat. So you take the welt, and I'm going to put myself here down. You take the welt and you pin it on the front. This is the bottom of the front. And you pin the welt on here just like this. On the front of the pattern, it has where you've marked it, where the placement of the welt is. For adding a pocket though, What you want to do is you want to raise it up just about 3/8 of an inch. Yeah. So the markings on this were this high. And I can show you, I think if I have a pen handy, I can do that. But I started out, as we're talking about pens, I started out with the wax paper. I went back old school and put it on this material. This is slippery satin. And wax, I found out the hard way today. Well, and the hard way, it was just a learning experience. I found out that when you use those wax paper tracing papers, after a very short time, it rubs off. I went looking for my buttonhole markings on this thing, and they were gone. So I got out the washout marker, and I used it. And it's still there. And it will be there until I put water on this thing. And the great thing about that is if you accidentally mark something incorrectly, just take a paper towel with some water and wipe it off. This is what it looks like on the pattern. And so the welt, instead of it being here, I put it to the top to allow for the pocket to be in there. So I raised them up just a little bit, about 3/8 of an inch. And then, of course, I turned it around and looked at it from the front. I go, oh, yeah, it's good. It's not too high. That's the best part about that. So you put the welt on. And then the two pocket pieces that I swiped from that pattern were, one of them is a little bit larger than the other. And the reason for that is the larger one is the one behind. It's the one that is the back of the pocket. It's closer to the body. What I like about this particular pattern, this is a McCall's, I believe. Yeah, this is a McCall's, is the fact that the pattern gives you pockets if you put them in. Because you're lining it, every vest is lined. It's a front and a lining together. You don't see the pocket. When you open that vest up to put it on and off, you don't see a pocket, but it's in there. So it's between the layers. That's the beauty of being able to do this for this groom. He's kind of picky. So you put the smaller one, you lay it on top of your welt, and you're going to do it so that, as you see, the pocket has a narrow end and then a wider end. The wider end goes towards the front or the middle or the center, excuse me, of the vest front. And then, I need to get more water. The back of the pocket does the same thing. It's narrow on the back side and wide in the front. And that's how you place them. Now then you sew on the smaller pocket. That's as far as we got in the first video. The second one, you stitch right, you butt it right up to it. And I'm going to move this a little bit because it's not quite snug. And I want this to be nice and straight and snug on this. I even, since I'm using a vintage machine, I had to find a vintage foot for it. Actually, a couple of feet. One is the actual buttonhole foot. And it's funny, I had shown a photo of it to several people who had been, I call them sewing machine gurus. And they didn't know what it was. They were all guessing. I knew what it was. I had an inkling, you had to just have this thing. And then when I tried it out for that purpose and it worked, I go, hey guys, guess what it is? It feels good to be kind of a not a novice, but identifying old zipper feet. Not an easy task sometimes. So on the top, the pocket piece on the top, which ends up being the back, you're going to stitch just a 1/4 inch back from where they literally touch each other. And see that? I was very happy that little Miss Netchie was very accommodating today. And she was very very cooperative in my little repair here. And this way. And I'm using a Teflon foot on it. And she's rock and rolling because there's something underneath her. What's underneath there? Oh my goodness gracious, that doesn't belong under there. No wonder she's jumping around. It makes a terrible noise. and then push the button in and go backwards. I was working on my vintage desk one earlier, and it doesn't have the, what do you call it? It doesn't have a foot pedal. It has a knee pedal, where you use your knee. And I just broke my thread on this thing. Oh well. Now earlier, I ended up going to taking the needle out to put the thread in because it always don't work so good. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if I can't get this in here this time, I might end up doing the same thing. There's nothing wrong with taking the needle out. You have to be careful just to put it back in correctly. So we're going to do this little guy right here. I have tilted back sometimes helps for me to see it, to get it in there. I didn't do that before. I should have. But it does help because it takes some of the glare from the light because the light's so bright. Oops. It wants to shimmy on me. I just stitched with this a little bit. I tested the button holder. Sorry about that. And it worked wonderfully. Of course, now I have to do it visual. It's not like your modern button holders where it kind of stops for you. You have to literally watch it as it goes, or it will make it too big, and then you'll be mad. And I know my son will be mad. But I'm trying to use not use the main color green because I'm running out of it, and all the stitching that goes on the inside. It doesn't matter what color that is because nobody's going to see it. Well, yeah, I am going to revert to my old ways. I'm going to take this needle out. For some reason, I can see the angle better if I have the needle out. Holding it in position with the flat side away from me. That's how it has to go back in. And I put it over here in this. I don't know why I put it in the shadows. It works better. And like before, bingo. It went right in there. I really should make an eye doctor appointment. I have a very sneaking suspicion my prescription was got to be way off. So I've noticed some things. And you do that. And when you do this for basically now for a living, it's or actually it's not for a living. It's from a pure enjoyment. It helps other people out, not like that. And put that little needle in there. Careful not to pull the thread back out, because I've done that before. I did that earlier today, and I got mad at myself. I couldn't stop being mad at myself. That's kind of silly, huh? All right, well, we have that in there. Sometimes it likes to, because I take the needle out probably, it likes to flip that thread backwards into it, and it makes it get tangled. I go, don't do that. I don't know that. Let's see. Are we doing good? Yeah, I think so. Now, the thing with this niche is it's hard to find feet that actually work with it. And I may have to revert back to the one that I had because that may be why the thread broke. And since when I put the, I put the press foot down, it don't want to go. It's like it's hitting the Teflon portion. So I'm going to take this off. And my vintage foot, it better not have disappeared on me. There it is. Because I can use it for straight stitching or the buttonhole, I'm going to use it for everything. And it kind of looks like this. That's the one that nobody could figure out what it was. It is a buttonhole foot. It's exactly what it is. But you can use it, probably could use it for zippers, but not too much. Wouldn't really be appropriate. I've never tried to use it for zippers. But this machine, and I'm going to show how to fix what I fixed on this machine in another video. And this niche is a 536L. The feed dogs, for whatever reason, all of a sudden one day they got stuck down and I could not get them to come up. And I fixed that. I figured out how. So it likes this foot because it's smooth metal on the bottom. There's no teeth to it. Your modern day buttonhole foots have this little tread on there. It hates that stuff. It will not pull the fabric through. I don't know. So I don't make up the rules. But This should make her happy. She's like, I don't like those ones that make me stop. Now I think I've got the needle in there crooked. Look at that earlier. I was like, that needle is crooked. I think this machine can hold 2 needles. I think that's the deal. Because it has 2 thread guide things. And you gotta put the needle in the right one, not the left one. Yeah, I think that was the deal earlier. Why it was breaking stuff. You learn about machines after a while, what the little quirks are, eventually. And then so I kept looking at it going, that needle bent, in there crooked or what? I think I had it in there cockeyed because I didn't. It took 2 needles. Maybe it would do better if I could put a double needle in there. But I'm not going to play like that today. So we're going to do this. Okay, you can go ahead. There you go. Just do some locking stitches, okay? There you go. There she goes. She's a good girl. I don't know why I call it she. Sounds like a girl's name, I guess. And I'm not stitching as fast just because I don't want her to have a little hissy fit like she just did. Because now she's stitching purty. Because I listened to her. And this foot, like I said, this machine seems to really like it. Now, it's interesting about that foot. That foot is as old as this machine is. Maybe that's why she likes it. They get along. They can identify. But because this machine was in the 60s, and that foot is from the 60s. And so now I've got those 2. Where'd my magnet go? I had one. There it is. Yeah, I've got a couple of them. I let them keep them around. So I don't lose my pins all over the place. So with that piece, now I have both the bottom of the pocket and the top of the pocket sewn to it. The next step. This is where it gets kind of tricky. You gotta be careful. You do not want to cut too far or too fast, or you'll end up having to make another vest like I did. That one was a buttonhole snafu. The seam ripper kind of ran away with me. So you take this is on the right, wrong side, excuse me. I'm sorry, right side. Hello. I knocked something around. And I've got magnetized stuff. Grabbing my scissors. What is up with that? So there's a couple different tools you can use. You can use a seam ripper to open that up, or you can use one of these. From what I remember it being called, it is actually a buttonhole cutter. Cuts open buttonholes without going crazy. So you go where the 2 pocket top and bottom meet, that line in the middle. You're going to cut that, but with one exception. You're going to cut it like this. I'm going to show you on the paper here. When you're cutting your pocket opening, it's cut this way. Like this. Okay? So when you cut this and you turn that pocket to the inside, it will cover up this part. Basically, that's what it does. It covers up the raw edge for when you stitch it, the front and the back together. And you know, it's going to do art today. That's okay. I don't mind. So very carefully. So I put a V in it first. And I bring it up this way. Now, earlier, I made it kind of a little too narrow. And I had to...
Call from Ted Walter.
And now I got a phone call. Wasn't that funny? Hey. Well, you caught me in the middle of a sewing class. What's up? He's not answering me. And I'm slicing it down the middle. I don't hear anybody. Oh well. And this might do. I don't know what's up with this.
Call from Ted Walter.
I don't hear you. I can't hear him. That's the thing. And I'm not using that buttonhole thing because it's not working. And I'm going to use this X-Acto knife, but I got to be real careful with that. I don't want to mess this up. So I'm slowly going down. And then I'm going to do the V at the other end. Like this. I don't know why it keeps hanging up. If it's him or not. Okay. Let's see if it... Now, if it didn't cut all the way through, then I take my little scissors and I'll go along where I do see it cut and just very gently follow it through. Because there's several layers there, you know. And I'll do like this. Down to here. And like that. And like that. Let me see. Let's see. This is weird. Let's see. Huh. That's odd. Anyway. No, not that one. All right, come here. All right. Why do you keep hanging up? Okay. And I don't know if it's something important or not, because he's not saying anything. And it's our son who's the one that's getting married. So, I don't know. And then you're going to take these 2 pockets. Take this one and turn it to the inside. And let's take the back one, turn it to the inside. And I always lay it down flat so I can see how it's laying. This. And then you're going to sew the 2 pockets together. But you're going to take that welt that was on underneath, and it's going to go over top and into the inside. It gives strength to the pocket. It also fills in that gap. Just like this. And get in there. Hello. Okay. So it looks really... I'm going to show you just a second. So I can get it in there. Just like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the iron. I'm going to press it. Okay. But I'm going to show you how it looks prior to. Now this is what it's going to look like on the outside. Hope you can see that. It has a little 1/4 inch lip here, so I didn't pull it all the way through the welt, just all but a 1/4 inch. And on the back side, I'm going to be stitching the 2 pockets together to hold that in place. So in order to do that, I gotta do this. So, at least this time, it's laying, it's behaving itself, which is very good. And, okay, I have a pin that is nasty. It's got something on it, and it's going to go away. Might be glue, because I was gluing stuff yesterday. And if you have a pin that's just, if it doesn't go in nice and smooth the first time, you get rid of it. You throw that thing out, because it's just going to give you a headache after headache. You're going to keep picking up that bad pin all day long. And you're going to forget it. I know I did. You like this. Now what? Well, you caught me in sewing class. What's up?
Oh, I just listened to your voicemail. I've been trying to listen to it. It wouldn't let me. My phone was crazy.
Oh, that's strange. Modern technology.
I had a feeling it was you, but see, when you call, it never rings. I don't understand.
Yeah, same thing happens when anybody else calls you. I just found out recently. So.
Not everybody.
That's from the kids. They told me the same thing.
Scams come through.
Yeah, scam calls. You gotta love them, right?
Scams always go through.
Of course they do, because they're pirating people's phone numbers. I don't know how they do that. No, I got a phone call from someone, and they said, and I didn't know who it was. And I said, "Who is this?" And they were like, "Well, who is this?" And I go, I asked you first."
And you called. Who are you?
I said, "You called my number." He's like, "No, I didn't call your number." I said, "Well, your phone did." And that's when they said, "Well, there must be pirating my phone number." And I thought to myself, pirating phone numbers? I don't know about that. That's like, I'm not that techie. But I'm here. I'm pinning I'm working on our son's vest. Is what I'm doing.
2 weeks from today. Bites the dust.
Well, I had the one done, and he decided he didn't like it. And I was, yeah, he's very particular. Well, I had a snafu. I had a seam ripper go haywire on me, and I had to make an adjustment. So, made the adjustment by I added. Well, I can show you. It's got it looks like a tuxedo shirt. The way I finished it. I mean, I think it looks great. He didn't like it. He did not like it. No, he said, and he goes, "Well, how long will it take to make another one?" And I go, "What?" I said, "I've lost sleep over this thing. Lots of it." Well, he should have said, like, "Okay, well," he would just deal with it, because it's like, but no, he wants it perfect. So we're playing perfect mom. And I've had some mechanical difficulties, which I finally figured out, got that rectified, and everything is running very smooth, and I should be finished with this lovely vest shortly. You did send in your RSVP, correct? Sorry about the interruption. I said you did your RSVP. Otherwise, he's going to think you're not. He's going to think you're not coming.
Well, I couldn't find it, but he said Anna took care of it. Then I found it. Everything's good. I told him. Nothing worse than having your own. Nothing worse than having your own kid saying, "Yeah, he's not coming." No, of course I have. Oh, weird. I'm excited about it.
Because once I finish this vest, I got another vest to do, and then I've got a couple of ties to do. Oh, this is one. Oh, this turned out so great. Look at this. I can't believe this. This is beautiful. Look at that. This is neat. And I'm going to press it. So I got to press this on the iron back here real quick. This was a vest that did not have pockets, and our child decided he wanted pockets. So I had to use the creative brain that the good Lord gave me to figure that out. He keeps me sharp, I'll tell you what, when it comes to this stuff. But I surprise myself half the time. Honestly, I think I do.
Like being surprised.
So I may be making another bow tie, because the bow tie I made, I think it's too small, but what do I know? So after we finish the welt and the pocket on here, this one looks a little different than the other, but an adjustment with that one. You can always adjust it. I think I'm going to make them match better. Then you sew the front to the front to the back at the shoulders. And we are in really good spot right now. After you do that, you stitch your back. And on the back in this pattern, you can't put the belt on Well, no, I said it backwards. You can't do the darts in the back until you make the belt, which is backwards. Because most patterns will tell you to do the back and then put the belt on, and they have you tuck it under and stuff like that. Well, not this one. The belt is hidden in the belt in the darts. You put the end of the belt in the darts on both sides. So we are going to do that. I've already actually done that part. That's the front now, and the back. Front to the back, and then you take. Where is it? The back, which is the lining and the back together. That's your lining. This gets matched up. Then you pin this, and then when you sew it, finish sewing it, you do not sew the side seams. You leave those open, and then you pull the whole thing through one side seam, and after that, you stitch the side seam shut and the bottom, and you're done. So we are going to come back on this in a little bit so that you can see the finished one.